Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hey.
back to Loud Mom's Lair. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Tara. So we're finally so excited to pick up our mics again. We took a little bit of time off, but we are ready to dive into all the things that have happened this past month. And as always, Kristen, catch everyone up on what's been going on with you.
So a lot, but the biggest thing that has happened is I've had my car for, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years, and
the one you don't wash.
Yes. Exactly. Like two weekends ago? No. It was last week sometime. Mm-hmm. The Detroit Tigers baseball was in town in Colorado, so we went to the game, and we were parked, and I mean, granted, Colorado, for some reason, y'all are dumb as shit with your parking lots. They're so freaking small. Somebody was
I know where this is going.
They hit my car. We were still in it. So I looked at Austin. I was like, Austin, this guy's about to hit my car. And the next thing you know, we're like, whoosh, like we go.
Oh my God.
So Austin,
so you guys were in the car?
Yes.
When they hit you? Oh my God.
We like had just finished parking. And he had like this work van. Like it was one of those white work vans that like contract.
So heavy
whatever.
Thing.
Yeah. Ripped my paint off the side like of the back right bumper.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get out of the driver's seat. I had to crawl out.
Stop.
Yes.
Your parents showed us the picture of like how close they were. We'll have to upload it onto the page.
Yeah,
like,
I'll post it.
Did you guys get any like dents or anything?
No, it was mainly just like scratched off paint, which is fine. We're taking it to somebody we know that hopefully it's just the paint. I hope there's not like actual like damage to it, but I was so freaking pissed. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And well, and especially being there, like being in the car.
Yeah. And the guy was super nice. You know, he was this young worker.
Don't give him credit.
I know. Like sympathize. I keep going back and forth, but it is like, you have this big ass van. You can't even sit and turn around in these parking lots because they're so freaking ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So what makes you think you're gonna freaking get around in
Uber.
This big old freaking van? Mm-hmm. So, you know, other than that, we're trying to deal with that now.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. And that's like the worst luck ever. And especially when you're there for like an exciting event and everything.
Yeah. I know, you just like walk back out to the car and you're like, yep, this really happened. There it is.
Still there.
I guess at least we were there when it happened, because you never know. I mean, they could have just left a note or just taken off.
Or nothing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Let's hear from you.
Well, so I'm sure a lot of the listeners are aware of what's been going on, for people who don't know what's going on, or new listeners. Unfortunately, in 3 days, it will be a month. My dad passed away unexpectedly, so we've been dealing with a lot of the fallout from that, of course, and we went back to town this past weekend to do a celebration of life event. And now we're dealing with some of the legal battles for the estate. I'm the executor on his estate, so just managing all of that. I'll have to go back home to handle his affairs probably in the next few weeks or so. And then on top of that, I swear when it rains, it pours. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
People say things happen in like threes or whatnot. I swear we're up to like 5 right now. So we've had, you know, my dad's passing, the legal battles, Matt's dad has been in and out of, you know, the hospital and visits and whatnot, and he's okay, fortunately. And then our dog had surgery today. He had to get 2 tumors removed, and work's obviously wild, and it's just a lot, right? Yeah. And then add a toddler on top of all of that. So we are trying to get back to normal life, and I don't know when we're going to hit normal again, but we are trying. So a lot of moving pieces, and we'll dive a little more into like what happened and anything that anyone wants to know. So, but before we kick that off, I say let's do a little cheers, and I'm gonna crack one open.
Holla.
And let's do cheers to welcome back to our 13th episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to do a 13th episode last month, and we had it ready to go. And unfortunately, with everything that kicked off, we are redoing episode 13. So cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So like Tara said, with everything that's been going on, we figured it would be a good time to discuss the topic of going through hard times and being a parent at the same time. We know the last episode we did was, it was a heavier topic also. So we're going to just continue to lay it on y'all.
When it rains, it pours, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah, we just wanted to, I don't know, kind of explain like why we've been out for a month. And then, you know, with being parents too, especially littles, you know, 2-year-old, 3-year-olds, or whatever age, it doesn't matter. But you have to learn how to balance, like, how do you appropriately grieve a situation or a traumatic event, or how do you get through that tough time or that low point in life while also being present for your kid? And how do you manage it with your significant other if you have one in the picture? And then, yeah, like, do you show your emotions to your kid, or do you try to hide it? Because I know I'm awful with that, and I try to hide everything. So, but yeah, just kind of discussing a little bit of that.
Yeah. And I mean, it is hard just on the fact that they are so young, and do they understand? And like you said, yeah, you want to hide your emotion because you don't want, at least I know when I'm upset and I show it, Braxton is even more attached. Like he'll be like, oh, it's okay, you know? And sometimes it's just like, okay, I just need to be by myself, but I don't want you to be upset for me.
Right.
Because you're so little.
Right. But I mean, at least you don't have a sociopath as a kid because he's empathetic. So
yeah.
Winning.
Yes. Hashtag winning.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, so like best example that, or to kind of tag along with what you said. Oh, also everyone listening, apologies about the cough and the nasal voice and everything. We got sick while traveling, and it's just hitting me very hard. So just excuse the coughing. But
at least it's you this time and not me. They're probably like, dude, Chrissy, what's wrong
with
you?
I know. Chrissy gave it to me.
Yeah.
Through the computer.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, when I found out about Dad, it was probably a couple days after finding out. I remember being in the office, and I chose to not take time off work, and I just wanted to dive right back in because I needed a distraction and whatnot, and which I learned was unfortunately a mistake. But I remember, you know, ending my work day, and Matt went and got Liv from daycare and brought her back home, and they came into the office, and I was in the middle of like a breakdown, and I was just like, I mean, mid sob, you know, and she came in so excited and was like, Mommy, you know, and then she saw me, and Matt saw me and was like, oh shit, you know, like trying to like get her, you know, corral her and whatnot. And she came over and she's like, is Mommy sad? And I was like, yeah, you know, Mommy's really sad right now. And she just came over and gave me the sweetest hug and like a kiss on the cheek and everything. And I was just like, oh, how is your heart so big when you're this tiny?
I know. That's so sweet. Sometimes you need that for sure, even if it is from a 2.5-year-old.
Oh my gosh, but sometimes it just, it's everything.
Yeah, melts you for sure. Did, so share as much as you want to share. If you don't want to share it, that's fine. How did you end up telling Liv what happened, or how did you guys go about that? Did she understand why you were sad?
No. So it's kind of a weird relationship that we had with my dad. And for people who don't know, like, unfortunately, my dad and I have had a rocky relationship ever since mid high school or whatnot. And it just got worse over the years. And my dad was really sick. He struggled with alcoholism and narcissism and all of the things that go along with that. And I was the type of person who called him out on his shit. And I had to put up boundaries, and then I tore those boundaries down. Like last year when I took over his affairs, when he got misdiagnosed with dementia. So I basically sprung into action and started taking over all of his finances and everything to get him out of the debt that he was in, blah, blah, blah. So that was 10 months of hell. And then he moved out of the assisted living place that we moved him into. And I had to put up some boundaries. And I just told him, I said, if you move out, like, I can't help anymore. Like, I'm done. I was in such a low point in my life. And like, I needed to be there for my kid and my husband, you know?
Yeah.
And I just needed to take care of myself, you know, because I was not taking care of myself. And so he ended up moving out, and I handed all of his accounts back to him. And I said, gave him all the passwords, usernames, all of the things that he needed to be set up for success, all the due dates for everything. And unfortunately that was end of February of this year. And then 4 months later, I mean, we find out that he died. So, we throughout Liv's life, like, my dad knew obviously of Liv and always, you know, tried to call, checking in and everything. But because we had such a tumultuous like relationship, I didn't want Liv knowing about him. She did meet him once, but we never talk about him. We never, it was just, we didn't want to open that door because he was so he was not present in our lives. He never came to visit. There was always an invite on the table. Throughout all the states that we've lived, I've always wanted him to come visit, and he never chose to, even when he did have money. So like, he didn't have money towards the end of his life, and that's totally fine. I would never expect someone to come visit when they're tight on cash, you know, but when he was not tight on cash, he chose to go visit everyone else or go on vacations with other people instead of visiting one of his kids. So, or I mean, more than one of his kids, but I can only speak from my perspective. So, yeah. So over the years, we as Liv's parents decided to not invite that relationship into her life because it was so toxic. And he unfortunately was a very toxic human being to my life, meaning it would be to Liv's life.
And that's hard too, because you know, obviously he's your dad, and everybody wants a relationship with their parents, I would assume, you know. And then having a kid on top of that, you obviously want them to meet your little one. But like you said, you didn't want to bring that into her life because, I mean, let's face it, little kids, they soak up everything. They know. And I'm sure if, let's say, they did talk on the phone a lot, I'm sure she would wonder, you know.
Yeah.
Do I get to meet him or see him or whatever it may be?
Yeah. And like, fortunately, Matt's dad is such a wonderful grandpa to her. Like, he fills both roles, both grandpa roles. And so it's like, she doesn't have that missing piece. She has a grandpa, and he's present, and he adores her. And, you know, he's present. That's the best way I can put that. But I mean, like you said, I've always longed for a good relationship with my dad. Like, I hate the fact that I didn't have a good relationship with him. Like, that sucks. And it's not, I don't think anyone ever wants that, but you hit a point where you notice the destruction that it's causing, that relationship is causing. And you're like, enough's enough. And I just unfortunately hit that point. And it's like, how can I protect our daughter from that toxicity, you know? And
well, yeah. And if you went down a wrong path, that would destroy her also.
Yeah. And I mean, like I was saying, I hit a really dark period, and I recognized, I recognized maybe a little too late, but like, I mean, fortunately it was recoverable, but I recognized that I was in a really bad space and I was checking out as a mom. And that was like a really big brick wall that I ran into. And I was like, holy crap, like I can't do this, you know? And like there were times I just wanted to be alone and that was it. And but like you can't do that with a toddler, you know? Like they need you. And I realized I needed to be there for her when she needed me. And so that means I need to cut some toxic stuff out of my life.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, like you said, you can't, they won't leave you alone. You can't even go to the bathroom for 2 minutes without them barging in.
Right. No, but really, it's like, yeah. So after he passed, I mean, obviously she saw me crying and whatnot. And we just kind of talked it up to, you know, mommy's just sad. Like, it's okay to be sad, you know, just explaining like, it's okay to have these feelings and it's normal to cry, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like internally, it's like, I wish I could explain to her like why I'm sad, but she wouldn't understand because she doesn't even know him.
Right.
She'd be like, who's your dad?
Yeah. Or she'd be like, okay.
Yeah. And like go, which is probably for the best anyway.
So you all had to travel. You went back to Ohio/Michigan. Did she kind of have any, and you had a celebration of life for your dad there? At Maple Grove, which I know we said in the past.
OG
Maple Grove.
Spot. The OG. So like Maple Grove, if you guys haven't heard in our previous episode, is where my wedding was taking place. And stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we had our little one's 1-year-old birthday. And
we had my parents' retirement party there.
Yeah. And
so,
now a funeral.
Yeah. Holler out to Maple Grove. They're the bomb.
Heck yeah. Go visit them.
Yeah. So you had to travel, obviously. Did she just kind of think it was more of like a vacation? And did she went to the celebration of life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we told her, you know, we were going to go see Nana. So she was so excited to see her and see, you know, Uncle Jake and Aunt Mariah and Aunt Meg and now Uncle Robel. And it's like we were just hyping it up, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Because there was no reason for her to be sad, you know, and there was no reason to have that conversation. So we went there and we just focused on her, like seeing everyone, and all the adults knew like why we were actually there. And we had to take care of a few things. So we had to go through his storage unit, his apartment. God, that was traumatic to say the least, going through the apartment. And and she just stayed behind. And Matt was a godsend throughout that whole weekend because he helped, you know, kind of shield her from a lot of things. And then my mom, you know, like obviously kept her when all of us siblings went up to Pere Marquette River, which is about like 4 hours away up north from my mom's house. And we rented an Airbnb and we stayed the night there and just kind of bonded and reminisced on the good times that we had growing up. Yeah, and we got to spread his ashes in the river up there. So, and that's what he always talked about. So.
Okay, I was gonna ask because I know he was like a big fisher and was he a hunter?
A little bit. So mainly fisher.
Yeah. So did he go fishing there then too? Okay.
Yeah. So they would do, I don't know if it's like annual trips. They would go quite often.
Your brother would go too, right? Okay.
Yep. So they would go up north fishing to Pere Marquette River multiple times. And and like for the last, I swear, ever since they started fishing there, he always talked about like, when I die, I want to get cremated and spread my ashes in the Pere Marquette River, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, thanks for making it easy, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I learned throughout, sorry, this is not really toddler related, but I learned that a will, right, it's great to have a will and because it expresses your wishes and whatnot.
Right.
But it doesn't do anything legally.
Okay.
Like it's a guide. It's not a tool. So you legally cannot do anything with the will by itself. You still have to go through other legal hoops to be able to even do anything for the estate. So what I mean by that is every state has like, if your assets are X amount of dollars, every state has like a maximum. If it surpasses that maximum, you have to submit paperwork through court, probate court, and it has to be approved to unfreeze all of the assets to be able to distribute however the will dictates, I guess.
Oh my God.
Requests, yeah. So we had to hire an attorney, and we had to submit several signed documents and pay fees. And now it could be anywhere from a 6 to an 18-month process. Mm-hmm. So with all the, cremation stuff and the trip and for the celebration of life and all of the things, you just pay out of pocket until the assets are unlocked or unfrozen. Yeah. And then you can disperse and reimburse, basically.
That's wild.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And highly recommend everyone to get life insurance too, because unfortunately my dad did not. And that obviously was a hiccup in the road too, because it's just shit gets expensive.
Right.
Real fast. He had it. He just stopped paying on it in February. So he's been paying on it since the 80s, and it got terminated in February. So what up?
Damn.
Prick.
And that's a lot. I mean, obviously, that's a lot for anybody, but his children, that's a lot to have to deal with. And you guys aren't old, you guys are young. So that's.
Thanks. No, I'm just kidding. Feel old. No, yeah. No, it's definitely, I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I know, kind of shifting a little, take some of the pressure off you.
Thanks.
I mean, I definitely have my struggles, and I take it day by day, and it is difficult because you obviously want to be there for your child,
right?
And you want to be able, whenever they're telling you a story or something, but when you're going through an episode or whatever you're having, sometimes it's like, okay, you do, like you said, you check out as a mom, and that's not something that obviously you want. Your first priority right now should be your child. One, they don't know what's going on. Two, they love you no matter what. And they always just think that you should just be happy, which is good. I mean, being a little kid, and I mean, yeah, you always would want to be happy, but it is. I know sometimes when I'm having a moment and Braxton's like trying to make me laugh and stuff, it's like, okay, I want to show that you're funny. Like, I want to show that I want to laugh to make you not be like, okay, what the hell, Right. But sometimes it's just, okay, I just need to chill for a minute. And that's hard. It's really difficult. How do you surpass that, I guess? It's almost like, do you have to just drop it all the way you're feeling? Sometimes I feel like that's what I need to do. Okay, just put everything to the side right now. And when he goes to bed, then you can have your meltdown. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen like that. But
right.
I mean,
so how do you deal with it? Like, do you wait until he's down in bed, or do you like ask Austin, like, hey, can you just take him for a minute so I can step away for 5 minutes or whatever? Like, what's normal for you during your moments?
Obviously, if Austin's here, then yes, I'll just be like, okay, I need to go somewhere. Whether it's sneak outside and go water my dirt / grass we're trying to grow right now, but if he's not there, then yeah, I try and, if I have a feeling and my eyes just start to water, I just sometimes have to, okay, just, I feel like suck it back up, and just get through life, because I have had moments where I'm playing with Braxton, let's say, and sometimes your mind, you can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And something will come up and I just gaze.
Yeah.
Almost like I have no idea that he's even there.
Yeah.
And that's scary because I don't want him, like, he can play by himself and stuff, but I want to be that parent that is involved. I want to be that parent that's there. I want him to be like, oh yeah, my mom will do this with me and do that, you know.
Want to be present.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's scary. And then sometimes I'll just, if he does something or says something, I just snap out of it. I'm like, okay, I need to just look at him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading something that said if you're having any type of moment, even if your toddler is throwing a dumb tantrum that we all know they have,
mm-hmm.
and you are just at a breaking point and you just want to scream, look at their hands, because they're so small,
mm-hmm.
that it kind of just reminds you, like, okay, they're just a little human. Just
weird.
Chill for a minute. I know.
I have never seen that or
I've
heard
never
that
seen
or
it either. And
read
I was
it.
like,
Yeah.
oh, that kind of makes a lot of sense.
They have cute little hands.
Yeah. So, okay, they're cute. Just snap out of it for whatever, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always have to just look at him, and I'm normally good because I'm like, okay, I need to be here for him. This is, again, he was brought into this world. It's not like he asked to be here.
Right.
We brought him into this world.
We did that too.
Exactly. Sorry.
Oh,
but...
sorry, Liv.
And it kind of goes, I know we've said this before, that we're adults, and I feel like no matter how old you are, some days you really are just like, okay, I need my mom, and how am I supposed to be a mom when all I want is my mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were talking earlier how you just be like, oh God, I can't wait just to hug my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was telling Chrissy, I was like, ever since my dad died, it's like I instantly went back to like that little girl and the daughter, and it's like I just I'm gonna cry. I just wanted to hug my mom so bad. Like, my husband was wonderful and I'm so happy that he was here to like hold me, while I was breaking down. But like I wanted my mom so bad. And so like I was looking forward to that first hug, and like that first hug was going to mean everything to me.
Well, and it's almost just like everything just goes away, right?
Yeah.
They don't even have to say anything, and they're just there. It's just the feeling of them being there. I know sometimes I have to call my mom, and for no reason I call her and I'm like already crying on the phone, and she immediately, what is wrong? Or I don't even have to be crying and she can just hear it in my voice, like, what is wrong? I just need to talk to you. Just you don't even have to say anything. Just let me say my piece and then we can hang up, like whatever.
Yeah. The amount of times this past month that I've called my mom just because I was overwhelmed or sad or whatever you want to call it, but like I would call her and it's like I would just say like, Mom, and and she would be like, what's going on? Like what's happening? And it was such a comforting phone call, even though I was devastated during the phone call. Like I just sought like comfort in those. But like, and I hope one day Liv feels that way about calling me, and it's like
absolutely.
Yeah. And so that kind of cycles back to, it's like you want to be present so they know like you are their comfort. You are their safety zone or safety net, Yeah.
I mean, it can be hard. I guess I can't imagine someone who goes through, let's say, being an addict or not being present in their child's life or they just took it to, I guess, another level where they didn't stop and, let's say, look at their kid's face or look at their hand and be there, be the bigger person. You're the parent. And that's what's sad. It's sad that some people they go through that. And it's definitely hard being a parent when you're going through hard times.
Yeah. 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 I mean, unfortunately, there's a ton of parents that aren't present in their kids'
Mm-hmm.
lives. Like, but I don't get it because like
Mm-hmm.
I could never do that to live, but
Right.
I could understand how that begins, like
Mm-hmm.
that, because when you're going through a shit time, like
Yeah.
I could see how that could spiral. I
Yeah.
know some people are just crappy people and they're just not there
Right.
from the beginning,
Yeah.
but
When
I
you
could
have
see
demons,
someone.
it
Mhm.
yeah takes over.
Yeah. Yeah. And like unfortunately my dad had a lot of demons, like a
Mm-hmm.
ton. And like I said, unfortunately, we starting splitting ways like yeah, mid high school was really when it really for me started getting worse and then it just
Yeah.
escalated from there. And it was like hit or miss over the years and now it's been how long have we been out of high school? 15 years.
Stop.
I mean, what
15 years?
mine was yeah, 2009. Yeah,
Yeah,
weren't
we
we both
graduated the same.
2009?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
So
the F
almost
out of here.
14 years, yeah. Long time.
Ew.
Right? I know. I know. Matt and I have been together 12 years already.
Oh my God. I can't.
Yeah. So we're just old.
Yeah, time just stopped. My birthday's the end of this month. I'm not looking forward to it.
Oh shit, it is. It's July. Yeah. Oh, welcome. Welcome to the next year of your life.
Yeah, gross.
Join me.
Do you think when I guess Liv gets older and maybe she starts to understand?
Will we tell her?
Yeah, or like if let's say she sees a picture or she is like, well, I see dad's dad.
Mhm.
Where's your dad?
Yeah, I'm sure that conversation will come up at some
Yeah.
point because, like, if she's anything like me, which I know she is, like,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted all of the information.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I demanded to know about Santa and the truth about
Mm-hmm.
Santa when I was like X years old. I don't even know how old I was, but I sat my mom down. I was like, I want to know the truth. So if she's anything like me, like I'm sure the conversation will
Yeah.
come up at some point. And we're not gonna lie to her,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hopefully she's old enough to understand, and I'm sure she will be because kids understand things at such a young age. It's
They do.
insane to comprehend that.
I know.
But
It's almost like I feel like sometimes they're smarter than
we give them
like,
credit to.
yeah, and or adults sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
sometimes he comes up with the stuff to say, and I'm just, where did you hear that from? How do you even know that? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yep. No, Liv will do the same thing. I'm like, where did you hear that?
Yeah.
Or there will be moments where I'm like, maybe I need to like be spitting more information at you because you're
Yeah.
absorbing everything right now.
Right. Let me get a dictionary and just go through all the words, or
Yeah.
let me get a map out. Here's all the states.
Physics 101. Or like, I would like to retire early, Liv. So
Yeah, for
need you to be
sure.
like a programmer or something. Invent something.
Yeah. This one might be a crazy question or out of here where you don't want to say, which is fine. If you don't want to, we'll just cut it out. So you said, you and your dad really haven't had a relationship. And then after he passed, do you have guilt not having that?
It's funny you ask. So my sister checked in on me and asked like how I felt with
Mm-hmm.
everything. Cause I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my siblings knew like our relationship and whatnot, but I remember
Right.
this conversation my sister and I had. And because I asked her like how she was feeling because she stayed close with them throughout the years, and I'm sure it impacted all of us in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, she asked me how I felt, and the first word or the first couple words that came out were very guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, yeah, I have a lot of guilt. So I think so it doesn't make sense when I say this out loud, and but I feel responsible for his death in a sense, purely because I put up those boundaries in February and I could have continued like um running his finances and facilitating his lifestyle, and when I say facilitate his lifestyle, like maybe prevent him drinking more or maybe like control it a little bit. Or I don't even know if this would have been a thing, but like, or a possibility, but I had the ability to go to court and, file for guardianship when, he got diagnosed dementia at that time. Like I could have done all of these things and I chose not to because I was in such a bad place and I needed to like pull my shit together. But um yeah, I feel really guilty, and I feel guilty for not talking to him more, and because I knew he was sick, but like I was so angry all those times he was yelling at me and saying F you, F this, F that, it's like it was so destructive. But um in that moment I was just like, I can't do this. Like, why am I putting up with this? But after the fact, it's like, oh, he was sick. And I'm not trying to excuse his behaviors because it was disgusting behavior. And my mom always told me, she's like, don't say anything you're not going to regret or you're going to regret, like, don't do that. It's like, I won't. Like, obviously I won't.
Yeah.
But the amount of times I wish like he would just die was a lot. Like, I continuously said, like, it's going to be so much easier when he's gone. But I quickly learned as soon as he was gone, it wasn't easy. And it's still not fucking easy. And it's like, I'm still, now dealing with the legal stuff. And who knows when it's all going to officially be over with. So I can finally close that door and like fully start to grieve. But like, I feel like it's this shadow that is just like hanging around, and I have zero control over it, yeah, I feel really guilty, and I know it's not my fault, and I know I couldn't have saved him. I know like he did this to himself. Like for the listeners, like he drank himself to death. He shut down his own body. He malnourished himself to the point. You can go on my website, Less Thorns More Roses, like, and I break it down for anyone who wants to read it. And like, but he was so destructive to his own body, and that's like, we did a welfare check on him. They found him collapsed in his bathroom, and like that is how his life ended. And he was alone, and he was living a lonely life. And I feel guilty that I facilitated him being alone. And I don't know, one day I hope I'll heal from that, like, and move on from that. Because once again, I know it's not my fault, but like, I do think I could have maybe stopped. I don't know. I feel like if I did anything additional on top of what I've already done in the last year, is like I would have just elongated the inevitable. I would have just or just pushed it back. Like it was going to happen sooner or later, and it just happened sooner than what we thought.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, again, that's a lot to take on, being how old you are, and you all having your own families. And again, you still need to not just be there for your child and husband, but you need to be there for yourself.
Yeah. And like the time that I took over, his stuff is like, I was in the best place out of all of us to like be able to do that. I had the time. I was just able to do it, and I know my siblings would have done it if I needed them to as well, but I did it. And once I started, like, there was no stopping taking over his stuff. Like, and I don't mean that in a sense, like I wanted to take it over. It was just, once I took over one account, it snowballed to all of these other things. And, you unbury like all of the demons in his life that he's been hiding skeletons. Thank you. Like that he's been hiding for decades. And like 75% of what I found, I had no idea about. And it's like, and then I had to call all these numbers and figure out like, how long has this been going on? Like what collections agency is after him this time? How do I get him out of foreclosure? How do I liquidate this account so it can, be more sufficient for his life or give him food on the table? Like, So he drank himself to death. He wasn't eating. He collapsed, and his body just shut down on him. And yeah, hopefully one day I won't feel guilty, but currently I still feel guilty. And
yeah, I mean, I can't obviously imagine what you're going through. I have obviously known you our entire lives. We've had many, many, many good times at the house you grew up in. And unfortunately, I do know how everything played out. And I mean, everybody's going to sit and say it's not your fault. It's not.
Yeah.
But again, we're not the ones going through what you're going through.
And that's the weird part.
Is like, deal with that.
Yeah, and that's the weird part is like I know it's not my fault. Like I do understand that, but like internally, like I haven't been able to absorb that information. Yeah, so like my immediate feelings are like I maybe could have stopped this and maybe my siblings wouldn't be hurting so much. It's like maybe all of the people that are hurting, or if they are hurting, like maybe I could have like prevented them the hurt, it's like, but I'm not fucking Superman. Like,
no,
I did what I could. I set him up for success as best as I could.
Yeah.
And it just failed.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it failed. I mean, he did what he wanted to do in that sense. You were there for him as, I feel like, a child or a sibling or whoever should be. Yeah. And I mean, it just, unfortunately, the skeletons and demons that just.
Yeah. It's just a crap situation. So.
Well, I think I can say for everybody that we truly are sorry for your loss, and it's not anything that somebody ever wants to go through. No matter how old you are, and it's a tragedy that something like this happened.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I do want to say, like, for anyone listening who did attend the celebration of life or reach out, like, we as a family, like, genuinely appreciate it and appreciated it. There were a lot of kind words that have been poured out and a lot of love that's been poured out. And we saw faces we haven't seen in years. I saw faces that I didn't even know who I was hugging, but I acted like I did because there were so many people, and it was such a good turnout, and that we weren't expecting because, like I said, he lived a lonely life, like in the end of his time. So I am very happy and I feel very loved, and our family feels very loved and fortunate that the quote unquote village really did come together this past weekend. So thank you for whoever's listening, honestly. But yeah, sorry. A lot of this was not like toddler oriented, and but we knew it was gonna spiral into why we've been gone for a month.
Yeah. And I think it's good too, because I mean, last one wasn't really a whole toddler session either, but it's nice to be able to do serious things too.
Let's be honest, this podcast is about life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Can I say a funny story kind of to tack on I mean, it is about my dad, but it was a comical situation. It was a situation that probably would be in like a movie. So it's how I found out about his passing. I know that sounds very morbid, that it's a quote unquote funny story, but I was at the dentist and I was in the chair. I had to get a procedure done, and I just got done getting like numbed up. So,
oh gosh, yeah.
My whole half of my face was fully numb. And when I say fully numb, like My eye was drooping. My mouth was drooping. Like
Can't
everything
feel
was drooping.
anything.
Cannot feel anything. And I knew a welfare check was happening. And I told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm going into the dentist. Like, text me if everything's okay. Call me if it's not okay. Mm-hmm. And I just got done like with the cleaning part and they were about to start the actual procedure. And I get the phone call from my sister. And as soon as I saw her name come across my phone, like I knew what it was. Like internally, you just get that pit in your stomach, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I told my hygienist, I was like, I have to answer this. Like, yeah. I just have to answer it. And so I did. And unfortunately, like my sister was like, you know, she told me like what happened. And I, of course, was very upset and whatnot. Yeah. But I'm like on the phone. Half my face is numb and I'm trying to talk. My hygienist is behind. She hears me say like, Dad's dead. And so she's behind. She's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So she's like holding her tools in her hand and she's like trying to touch me on my shoulder. And she's like, yeah, what can I do? And I was like, I gotta go. I was like, no. I was like, am I allowed to go? And then I was like, well, how long of a wait would it be for the dentist? No, wait, I gotta go. Yeah. And so she's like, yeah, you go. I was like, do I pay? Do I check out? Like, I don't know what to do with my hands right now. And she's like, no, you just go. And so I was like, okay. She gave me a hug and I'm like walking out and I go past like the front desk lady and she's like, just go. And she's like waving me through. Oh my God. And so then I like get outside and, you know, I break down and whatnot. But I just thought after the fact, I thought it was such a comical moment. I was like, oh my God. I was probably trying to explain to her as this face is like drooping down, like, I gotta
go. You were like that Snapchat filter, the like crying one where it looks like your face is just completely.
Yes, but it was only half of the face.
Oh, no. I mean, so shout out to that dentist office for just being my God. Like, yo, get out of here.
Phenomenal. And they sent me a condolence card.
Oh my God.
They have been amazing. And like I did a week after I went back to actually have the procedure done because I needed it done. And the dentist who wasn't in the room, but he obviously heard that I had to cancel the second half of my appointment. He sat me down for like a couple minutes. He's like, I just want to say like sincerest condolences or like anything that we can do for you. You're my dentist. Like, okay.
Oh God, that's so sweet.
I'm here for this. Oh. Yeah. But that was just a little snippet.
Well, do we want to transition into our tantrums, our pulling at our hearts, whatever you may got?
You guys, we've had a lot of tantrums this past month. We've had a lot of big moments this past month. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to
bring us in?
Okay. So, obviously, with the celebration of life this past weekend, we've had a lot of travel on our hands. We have a 2, almost 3-year-old who is in between not knowing if she wants to nap or if she wants to nap. Mm-hmm. So let's fast forward to the last night. We're in town and we fly out the next morning. So we had to leave and we stayed at Chrissy's parents' house. So they had the space. They had it was just easier because my other siblings and their significant others stayed at my mom's and there just wasn't enough room.
Yeah.
So we stayed at my uncle David and Aunt Linda's house and we got her down and it was like maybe like 8:30 at night, maybe pushing 9. We got her down and we're like, yes, this is going to be great. She's going to sleep and we'll wake her up at 4:30 when we got to go and just transfer her to the car. This wench, we go to bed probably around like 10:30, 11:15 rolls around. She's crying and she wants up. And so I go get her. I'm like, hey, you okay? You know, maybe a nightmare. She's like, I'm hungry. I need food. And guys, let me highlight, she had a full dinner. Like we went out to dinner and she had plenty of food. She's like, I want pancakes. I was like, girl, it is 11:15. Like we are not having pancakes. We have to leave in like 5 hours. She was like, no, I'm hungry. My belly hurts. I was like, okay, so we're doing this. And so I get up, and like Matt offered to get up too. And I was like, no, like one of us needs to get sleep, and I'm not going to be able to sleep if she's awake because I'm a light sleeper. I was like, get some sleep. You can survive tomorrow with me trying to rack out. Right. And
did you find anything at my parents' house? Because I have learned now that we're all out of the house, they don't buy shit, even though I always want to snack at their house. So were you able to find
So my mom did a grocery trip before we got in.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but she had some, Matt loved all the snacks in their house.
I'm telling you, for some reason, their house is just a damn snacking house. And it always was. I remember Allie still comes over. And she is like, why do I always want to eat when I'm here?
That's funny you say that, because they brought that up. That you guys were talking about how their house makes you hungry. And so your mom and your dad were like, let us ask you something. Does our house make you hungry?
Although,
what are you talking about?
Maybe the reason why we always wanted to eat, or we had the best snacks, was because my brother literally was always eating. So they had to buy a million freaking things.
Yep. No, he was so active though.
Yeah. Okay, continue. So you had to get up at 11:15 to make pancakes.
So we got up and made pancakes and sausage, right?
You actually made the pancakes.
Yeah, she said her belly hurt, so I had to. And so I try to trust what she says sometimes. Joke's on me. So I made the breakfast. As soon as it got done cooling off, I'm not hungry.
Oh my God.
Daggers coming out of my eyes. And so I was like, okay, let's go back to bed. I want to watch a movie. No, this is not happening. She's like, I want to sleep on the couch. I'm like, no, because I know what that means. It means you're not going to sleep. I was like, no, we're going back to bed. She started to throw a fit, and everyone's sleeping in the house. So I'm like, okay, no, we can't do that. Like, we can't scream. And so I was like, okay, let's go sleep on the couch. Oh my God. It's a domino effect of horrible things. So we went to sleep on the couch, and we did not sleep at all. And I tried laying down, and I was in the mood of like, I'm going to turn on a movie so you're distracted so I can sleep. Like exactly. That was the point I hit. Mm-hmm. And then she would do this thing where she would roll over to me, and she would like hit the couch and like just stare at me and right in my face and goes, ah, and like, oh my God. And just like the biggest smile, like, it's playtime. And she's like, no, it's not playtime because it's 12:30. We have to be up in 4 hours. And so, long story short, of that evening, we did not sleep a wink. She pulled an all-nighter, and now it's 4:30 and we have to go to the airport, and we're expecting like, oh, she'll fall asleep in the car. Like, we're waiting for all these things when she could sleep, and she chose to not sleep in any of those moments. And so then we're like, okay, we're going to hit the plane, and she's going to rack out. We got a 3-hour flight. Mm-hmm. Like, this is so great. I'm running on fumes. Matt only got like maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Like, we're all running on fumes.
Yeah.
This girl was wide awake the entire 3-hour flight.
Shut up.
I shit you not. She was the busiest 2-year-old I have ever seen, running on no sleep. And so I was like, cool, we're going to hit our layover. We have a 3-hour layover. Like, you're going to nap in this layover. This girl did not nap in this layover. I'm like, okay, how are you functioning?
At this point, she's been up for
15 hours, 16 hours?
2.5. Holy shit.
No, sorry. The whole day was like 15 hours until she went to,
but still, I mean.
Yeah. So, we went to the lounge on our layover, and this girl, to cap everything off. By the way, long story short, she did not sleep on any of the flights. She did not sleep until we hit the car, leaving the airport after we got home. But in between that, on the layover, she thought it would be fun to run away from her dad, and he went to go stop her. She tripped over his arm, face planted into the floor, busted her nose. She's flowing blood out of both of her nostrils, and blood has filled her mouth, and people are just staring at us as our toddler is bleeding everywhere in the lounge. And we're like, are you kidding me right now? She was fine. She didn't bust a lip. She didn't break teeth. Like, she just had a bruise on her nose. But this girl, it was like a murder scene. And I was like, you guys all saw this, right? We did not beat her, okay?
Her.
This was her.
This is what happens when you don't sleep.
So let's remember this moment and sleep next time. So that was our travel experience with her.
Oh my God.
And she decided to kick and hit. And in said lounge, by the way, I took her to the bathroom because I was like, you gotta go potty. It's gotta happen. She threw such a tantrum. She started spitting on like the sofa couches that other people, and there's a line of women trying to get into the bathroom. They're just watching this all fall apart. And I'm trying to gentle parent the shit out of this situation. Yeah. I'm like, no, you listen to me. Like, you know, the moment where you just want to backhand them, but you can't because you chose gentle parenting route. Yeah.
And there's people around.
Yeah. And you know, everyone's judging. You're either too nice or too mean. And she just looked at me and she goes, and like spits like a loogie. And I was like, I will do something.
Yeah.
Like, mark my words, girl.
Is this like a when they hit 2.5 years old, they just learn how to spit? Sometimes, yeah, but his isn't like full on, like he does more like stuff like that. But I'm like, yo,
lived as full loogie status. And she knows it gets to us. She knows.
They are like at an age of pushing buttons. I swear. It is. So.
Yeah, tell me about B.
Are in the same boat with these tantrums. Like, just, I feel like it's all day, every day almost now. And when he does not nap, he's mean. We can always tell when he's starting to get tired, but doesn't want to sleep because he is so mean. So
they're buttheads.
They are. They're such assholes.
They're bullies.
Getting bullied by a 2.5-year-old blonde kid. So I was trying to think of something to do, because just telling him, all right, you're sitting in timeout, isn't working.
They laugh in your face.
Yeah. So something is not working. So I kind of was thinking of stuff, and I remembered seeing people, maybe teachers do this in school, of like the green, yellow, red light. Like if you're
your mom
good,
was telling me about this.
Yes, if you're good, I'll post a picture of my craftiness that I am not, but it's cute.
I love it.
You put a picture of them on one of those laundry hooks. And my lights say the green is you're being good, yellow is timeout, and red is you're gonna lose a privilege. So it was working so good. He even knew when he came home, I showed it to him. I said, okay, listen, this is what we're gonna try. And green, we want you to stay in the green. Green means this, yellow means this, red means this. And he would go through it. He knew what it was. And I would say to him, like, threaten, okay, if you're not going to listen, do you want to move your clip to the yellow? No, I don't want to go in timeout. Okay. Jesus, though. Like, it was working for a little bit.
And it's not anymore?
It does. I actually had to take away a privilege today because he was just...
He hit the red.
Yeah, I don't think he napped today. And every time he starts to get mean, everything is no. Do you, even like, hey, do you want to put your favorite comfies on? No. Okay, well, you're just being a dick now. So, sorry, there was a bug on my screen. I was trying to get it while
Did you get it?
I did.
Okay.
One of those stupid little gnats or whatever. It just, oh my God. So, I like the green, yellow lights. It's fun. And he knows what they are. But today was a rough one.
A testy day.
So you always hear terrible tooth, right? You never hear anything about 3 being worse, and apparently 3 is worse.
Oh, I do hear about it though. Like
How
I've read.
can it get worse?
I think our kids just hit it early because our kids are buttheads right now. And like I said, they're bullies.
They are.
They're manipulative. They are strategic in their words and their actions.
Braxton will do when I'm like, one more time and that's it. We're done. No more after that. How about 2 more times? And then 2 more times. No, I just let's do 1 more time. No, enough. It's enough.
So we'll count to 3 and we'll tell her what we're going to do on 3. So she knows the repercussion, right? And so we'll be like 1, 2, and she'll go 3.
I swear.
Those kids.
It brings it back to this difficult time that you still have to be a parent.
Yes. And like, oh, girl. Yes. I freaking love them, but man.
Push buttons for sure. Some days
Absolutely.
It is like, all right, just go away.
Yep.
Go play somewhere, not by me.
Yeah. And I don't know what you
Don't follow me in the bathroom because guess what?
I'm going to take a breather, okay?
Yeah.
I know. And I don't know what you and Austin do, but like Matt and I will be like, need to tap out? Like, give me 5 minutes and we'll just we'll swap real quick just to give each other a breather.
It's hard for us because Braxton is very much, no, I don't want you. He wants me all the time.
That's tough.
And sometimes I'm just like, Austin, sorry, you're going to have to deal with the hits if he's hitting you because I need to just chill for a minute.
Yeah.
It's sucking everything out of me.
I am lifeless right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, sometimes you got to do that. All right. Well, everyone, as we wrap this episode up, we wanted once again to thank you guys for your patience for the time that we took off. And I personally would like to thank you all for, once again, the love and support that has poured out this past month. And hopefully we will be back on track to reproduce episodes every week. So, yeah, and thank you all for joining. And please reach out and share your stories or let us know what you want us to talk about. Anything and everything is on the table.
Mm-hmm. As always, you can find us on Instagram at Loud Moms Lair Podcast. You can listen on Spotify if you search Loud Moms Lair, and even watch us on YouTube. Search the same name to view our channel.
Yep. And if you guys want to know more details about what happened with my dad and a little bit more nitty gritty, you can visit lessthornsmoreroses.com to read my latest post about that. But we will see you guys next week.
Bye.